Good afternoon, everybody. Hold on a second. My camera's a little cockeyed. I'm going to give you guys a few moments, or give myself a few moments, um, to collect some of my thoughts because, well, I know sometimes when I don't take the opportunity to check my thoughts, or I guess the word would be focused. Um, Sorry about the coughing. It's a combination of postnasal drip from my allergies, mom smoke, and just all the dust and whatnot. Hi, Sandra. Um, we have been working in our bedroom, which has not been worked on in a very long time. So I am trying to. Jerry's been motivated to clean up the bedroom. I'm hoping um, we can start on either her office, or her craft room, or the front room, and try to start getting them cleaned up and organized and all that fun stuff. Um, so it's been serious. It's been real. It's been difficult. Sorry, I keep on wanting to adjust my camera. Um, so it's a slow go, and a lot of it is on me because of my new problems, my back and whatnot. I am trying to patiently wait for Wednesday when I go in for the procedure where they're going to inject between two of my vertebrae into one of the discs, um, and inject it with a according to the paperwork and way it sounds, a steroid of sorts. Hey, crafty gypsy. So I'm like waiting for that to happen, but in the meantime, I'm not sitting around going, okay, I can't do nothing until this procedure. Um, so I am just, I'm like, okay, what can we do? I mean, m- keeping the house clean, I've got that down to a pat. I am not, I'm like, hey, Mona, I'm like, I am not going to, step away from doing my daily routine, or my daily cleaning. But there are other rooms that we now can start working on, because, well, I've figured that in one day I can do the two big rooms, or I can do one big room and some smaller projects without getting into a lot of pain, and just keep on doing that kind of stuff. And then 2 days ago, Jerry Ann said, "Why don't we start working on the bedroom and the rooms that need work?" And I was like, "Okay, sure. Where do you want to start? You want to start in the bedroom? You want to start in your old craft room? You want to start in the front room? You want to come in here and try to organize, clean, and sort through this stuff?" She chose the bedroom, which I understand because she's in the bedroom the most of the time. Whether she's laying in bed, sitting up in bed, sitting in her chair next to her bed, um, you know, let's clean up the clutter. Let's dust. Let's get that room looking nice, and then we can go to the next room, whether it's a couple hours fixing up the bathroom, or a day or two to fix up her front room. I mean, we're on day three in the bedroom, and that's a combination of I can only do so I can only do so much. Uh, I'm sorry, Brenda. Um, or yeah, Brenda. Um, so it's like with all the stuff, all I don't want to say junk because it's not really junk. Jay has a purpose for it, but all Jerry's stuff on her dresser, I got to get into the bottom of my cabinet basically, and clean out the two bottom, what's behind the two bottom doors. because I got to clean up all the we got to go through all the medications and make sure they're still good, or get not really get rid of, but put it in a donation box if we're not going to use it, if we haven't used it, or we got so much extra, it's crazy. Um, then I have, that's one side of the cabinet. The other side of the cabinet on the bottom behind the closing doors is just a whole bunch of stuff for like travel and electronics and just odds and ends that I threw in there that I need to go through and decide what to do with them. So it's just like a lot of different you know little projects in the bedroom, plus the main projects, which is just cleaning up stuff and organizing it and deciding where to put it instead of making more of a mess or whatever. Um, Especially since we're talking about putting the house back on the market um, somewhere in the next week or two. I think what we're kind of waiting for is to see what goes on with my procedure, and then see what how Jerry's doing and what the doctors say. Right now, the doctors are saying go for it, do whatever you want, just moderation. So she's actually been building up her stamina between walking from the bedroom to the living room or into the kitchen to help out with cooking, those things. So it's one of those like, let's get Jerry on the move. Let's get Jerry to build up her strength and her stamina. Um, let's do all these different projects. Um, Jerry's been wanting to get out of the house for a little while just to get out of the house, and I'm like, well, the reason why I'm not saying yeah, let's go, is because I want to work on this house. I want to work on this house and focus on the house before I focus on anything else. Um, the It's none of my business, but the arrival of the trailer has been pushed back to sometime in April, which is another. It's nobody's fault. I'm not blaming anybody. I got too overly excited. That's what happens to me a lot. Um, Especially when I'm receiving something I've been wanting for a while and just haven't been able to get it in one way or shape or form. I do appreciate Mona and her father for deciding to donate it to us or give it to us, however you want to put it. So I'm waiting for that. And Jerry's like, why don't we do some camping before we move to Colorado? And I'm like, don't push. I'm already over the edge of delays to get to Colorado, and I'm trying to look at it like, well, maybe there's a rhyme or reason for it. Maybe, you know, I don't know. You know, so I'm just kind of like, I'm. It's one of those things where it's like I gotta keep myself under control so I don't get too upset at all the different situations. But at the same time, it's like, if mom decides to put it on the market before mid March or even early April, um, it's one of those like, how much further can we keep pushing this off before I just get so wound up or torqued off, however you want to put it, that I just say screw it. If mom's car is working, because her battery died, so we either need a new battery or a jump start. If mom's vehicle is working, in March, it's like, or yeah, into March, early April, I'm just gonna be like, I can't wait no more. But the problem is mom can't handle two mortgages, so it's like one of those. What do you do? You know, if I had contact with some of my family that live in the Colorado region, um, I would be like, hey, I plan on moving up there, but I'm wanting to move to Colorado Springs. Um, can I get an assist? Can I get like a place for me and mom to stay while Jerry's fiddle farting around here? But I just know that doing that would not be good for Jerry or the dog, you know. So it's like I've got to gain the patience or whatever to not go off the deep end. Um, which brings me to the subject of the day. I'm going to forewarn all of you that if you have any difficulties or issues with me being both Christian and pagan, um, I'm sorry. Uh, I would not ask you to try to bring that trailer all the way to Colorado, Mona. That's that's one of the reasons why I've been keeping. I keep talking with mom about holding off and putting the house up for sale. Even if we were to put the house up for sale, let's say um, mid March, it probably would take a month or more to get the house sold and finalized and all that. So um, I'm not really worried about that, Mona. I'm more worried about myself. Um, and it might sound stingy or it might sound wrong, but I'm learning. Holy Christmas! Okay, I'm learning. My tablet just said low bat. I'm. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'll just keep that off. Um, I'm learning through my readings in a book I have that I've been reading and studying and getting ideas and whatnot off of it. And it's basically, hold on, sorry. It's basically, okay, Mona. Basically, it's called Witchcraft for Self Care, um, or excuse me, Witchcraft for Daily Self Care. And there's a lot of useful information in there we haven't gotten into, or the book has not gotten into anything that you can't learn from various health gurus or anything like that about meditation and certain types of breathing exercise for just to calm yourself. And then there's the meditation, of course. And meditation is basically just sitting in silence, letting your thoughts just free flow. um, for people like me, it's sometimes difficult to let that happen because it causes me to do this, like, okay, we got this to do, and then we got this to do, and I can't calm down. I just get more angst. Um, Hi, prepper. So it right now it's kind of in a little bit into the witchcraft aspect of daily care, but it's also into just something that you can learn from yoga or tai chi or a lot of different, like, um, health type stuff. Um, but I look at the world like it has a lot to offer that some people can say, "Oh, that's witchcraft." Well, nature. If you're using the energy of nature to help yourself out, you want to call it witchcraft. That's fine, Danny. Um, my beliefs in Christianity is um, anything made by God, anything produced naturally is is good. Um, Prepper, uh, y- y- it's hard to describe a pagan because there's various different religions or old school religions that a lot of people basically call pagan or witchcraft. Basically, a pagan is somebody who lives within nature. Basically, they They worship nature. They may worship different deities. I mean, you've got the different mythologies. You've got the Norse mythology, which I follow. You've got the Greek mythology. You've got the Roman mythology. You've got all the different old school religions that worship various deities. Pa- Pagans could be just anybody who doesn't follow, according to old school teaching, anybody who does not follow Christ is considered a pagan. I don't really consider myself a pagan because I do not follow any. I don't even call myself. I'm not even. I'm not an atheist, but I'm not a true Christian, nor am I a true pagan, because witchcraft, which is basically considered paganism, a form of paganism. It just basically old school paganism is people who don't abide by Christian standards. Now there are people like me, and I know a couple other people, about half a dozen of them. I'm not going to mention names or anything like that. There's one or two that come on my channel every so often. And we try to do what most people call white lighter, or basically we use the knowledge of nature to produce healthy potions, lotions, teas. Uh, you know, I've got spell jars. That's basically what I'm into. You know, there's some of the things that the Bible says not is not right, like divination. Basically, that's just trying to use cards or instruments, like Torah, to not Torah, Torah cards. Torah cards are or oracle cards to try to see into our future. Most of our most people who are practitioners, hardcore practitioners, they do try to help others, but I mean, one of the biggest things that we focus on is ourselves, because if we can't take care of ourselves, we can't help take care of others. It's just one of those, like, it sounds selfish, but it's just one of those things, like when you go onto a plane, the flight attendants, they basically give you their speech or their rundown on safeties, and they always tell you put the mask on yourself before anybody else. That's the same thing with most witches. We got to take care of ourselves before we can help out anybody else. And that's my breakdown of paganism. You can look it up. I mean, there's like a bunch of different translations of what paganism is or what a pagan is. But we're not exactly Christians, but we're not exactly afraid of Christianity, because I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you worship the devil." No, there's no devil in witchcraft. In fact, the devil is a man-made concept. Somebody, one of the many different translators of the Bible, the original Bible or original text of the Bible, threw in Satan, because basically he's a fallen angel. Doesn't mean he can't be reconstituted into archangels, because that's what he was. I mean, he was a fallen archangel. He got jealous of God's love for his own creation, us, that he rebelled, and he was tossed out of heaven. You know, but that's it. I mean, like I said, go look it up and make your own decision, because, well, I'll tell you something about my past in a second. Yeah, thank you, Mona. We're gonna go back in time. It was 1986 when my father passed away. Now, the thing was, in '85, I had an aunt, my mom's aunt Helen, pass. Then a year later, my grandmother passed, my mom's mom. And then a month after my grandmother, my father passed. And then later on that year, around Thanksgiving, my Aunt Kay passed. Now, I've already talked about Aunt Kay and my dad's relationship with Aunt Kay and how the family felt about her. Well, when that happened, excuse me, I ended up like questioning everything. Hey, Tina. Um, I questioned the reason why this had to happen. I questioned, if God is a loving God, why would He do this to a teenage boy? I started questioning everything I could, everything about my upbringing, my Christianity, everything. And I started reading various different books. One book, which was a collection of books, was by Mary Summer Rain. I loved her books. She kind of, her books kind of helped me calm down to a point where I wasn't a raging, angry person. Um, but I got into Native American shamanism. I got into Buddhism. I read just about every known religious book I can get my hands on. The only books that really clicked with me was the Native American shamanism and a book that I found on Druidism. Now, you would think that between my Christian upbringing and my studies in the different religions, and I mean all religions, new and old, um, well, about a year or two later, things were going bad in my house because mom had a new boyfriend. He got her to bring his kids from, get his kids from grandma and bring them down to live with us. And he was trying to take over the house and all that. And no, sorry, no, this is not your house. Your last name was not Henson. The whole nine. So there's a lot of arguments, a lot of disputes, and one or two fights. Well, what made it, stick with my mom that I was not happy with the situation and the situation needed to change is because one day I got really mad at her boyfriend for basically trying to tell me what to do in my house and what I can and cannot do with food that I bought that his kids were trying to eat. Um, I basically told him start sleeping with one eye open because I'll cut you open like a Christmas turkey. I found out from my mom a couple years later that he asked if I was being serious, and all she said was he is his father's son. Um, but because of the situation at the house, I ended up moving out. I ended up going to a place called LDI, Life Development Institute, in Phoenix, and I, you know, got in with a couple good people. I mean, well, I thought they were. I feel like they were good people. I felt that if we stayed in Arizona, which neither my mom nor myself wanted to because it was just too damn hot. But anyhow, the almost 3 years that I lived outside of the house, mom was starting to wake up to the reality of he was just using her for money, food, a place for his kids. He wasn't trying to help out with any of the bills. He's just basically a loser. I normally don't say that about people, but that's what this guy was. This guy was just a pure, you know, see what he can get out of a person after he's gotten rid of their kids type deal. Uh, um, Sorry, my lips are dry because of one thing or another. But she realized that things weren't working out right. That he basically helped, that he basically kicked me out of the house, and she realized that she needs to be taking care of her son, not somebody else's kids. So while I was at LDI, I got into to Wiccan, all for the wrong reasons. Because I wanted revenge and I wanted to get back into my house and live my life the way I want to live it, not like But we I ended up I think what helped my mom, I personally think what helped my mom realize that Mike was, sorry, did not mean to mention his name. No, screw it. Mike was not good for her, and I wrote and cast basically a spell and followed the instructions. And well, about 6 months to a year later, here I am finding out that mom woke up, basically kicked Mike out of the house. I was no longer at LDI, and I was having problems with my job. Well, basically, I was having problems keeping a job. So mom had me move back in instead of trying to pay for me outside the house, which I didn't want her to do. That's why I had roommates, but my roommates weren't really. One roommate did not have a job. The other roommate had a job but needed the money to pay for one thing or another. So I signed the apartment over to him and moved back in. Um, I'm actually doing really good today. I mean, the energy is high, but my body is hurting. Um, but anyhow, I got out of doing Wicca, and I just was reading, books of one form or another. Mostly Mary Summer books because she came out with a bunch of books. Um, but mom and I were living at the house in Paradise Valley, where I went to school too, Paradise Valley High. But we came out here for an aunt's funeral, and it was like the middle of summertime, and we were sitting. We had gone for a walk. The family basically went for a walk, and we got to this park that outside of the park, they were playing symphony type music. And I don't know if it was just a free demo or practice for something or what, but mom and I was sitting down underneath a real tree on real grass, wondering why we were still living in Arizona, dying of the 100 plus degree weather, during summertime. So that's when we started planning to move here to Missouri because it would be where mom was from, it'd be closer to her sister, um, things like that. So when we got here, I realized I realized I'm starting to be like Mike, basically living off my mom and not paying for anything except for what I got. But no, at the time I wasn't getting anything from my dad's military benefits. So I tried to get job, try to work jobs. I was having a problem with that, and I think that was mostly because of problems with my personality and whatnot. But um, yeah, it wasn't until, well, I got married in New York and then moved here, and it wasn't until my mom got me a ancestry.com test kit, and I did that test kit, and I went, oh my god, you know, Welsh, German, Norwegian, Danish, Swedish. Basically, I had three of the five Nordic nations in my bloodline. And the area of Germany that my family was from was northern Germany, which at a time was controlled by the Norse, people, the Vikings, as well as the area of my Welsh, because there was a strip of land that the Danes were in control of, and it was called the Dane Laws in England back in the 900s, 800s. I think it was like 900s to 1100s, and then you know they integrated into the British uh, people. I think it was great. You're getting a camper. Is your Yes, we looked at our tow capacity, and according to the information we got, we can we can tow it. I mean, as long as the camper does not weigh over, I think it was 3,000 pounds. I'd have to ask Jerry again because I took a picture of the maximum tow, and it was like if the van is empty, it can handle up to X amount of pounds. I think it was like 3 or 4,000 pounds empty. Tow capacity, as long as we don't overload the camper itself, tow capacity can handle it. All we have to do is take it to our dealership and put a tow hitch on. So I'm not too worried about that. Besides, we've got two different contingency plans. One is something we've been talking about for a long time because I've been asking is a possibility of if we can afford it or something like that. If we can afford it, to get a used pickup truck that's still in good condition. Oh, Oreo's waking up. That's not good. She didn't go down for very long. She's been down for almost 2 hour and a half, so that's not bad. But um, going back to my story, when I got all that information, I started getting in. I started reading all the things I could about the Norse people. Now, a lot of people sit there and go, Norse people? Who's the Norse people? Well, Norse people is basically the Vikings. The thing is, Vikings are not a people, it's an occupation. And it also translates roughly to being a pirate. So they were like the original pirates of the seven seas. Um, and they were better seamen, basically. They were better sailors and navigators and whatnot, and boat builders compared to compared to the rest of the world at their time, or at least the rest of their known world. I don't know how old the Chinese and Japanese ships started being built, but they were like one of the original, you know, sailors. So a lot of, I mean, during certain seasons, like during the winter season, or not winter season, yeah, during the winter season, they stay home with their families. During the spring, they get prepared, and during the summer, they go raiding or biking. And that, I found out there's two ways of pronouncing it. Viking is how we pronounce it. The Norwegians pronounced it Vikinger. At least I think that's the right way of pronouncing it. I don't know, but when I started getting into their runic language, which is basically nope, nope, I don't have it on me. All right. It's basically they have an alphabet, and each letter in their alphabet is a word or a name. And the word basically, if you use it right, you have their language. Um, I have trouble with it. I mean, not only the pronunciation, but the meanings. Sometimes I get, like I have to go back to my book to read it to see what the meanings are. Do I have one of my reading books? No, I don't. I think I packed it up for the trip, for the travels for the move. Basically, I packed up a lot of non-essentials. I still have a bunch of non-essentials that once Jerry and I get in here to start dealing with this room, I can start packing some of the non-essential stuff that I won't need. Um, so, yeah. One of the things that we got for Oreo, not only for the move to Colorado, but for um, I think we're going to use it for her new pen instead of the old metal one, and because it collapses, so you can collapse it, put it away, and then unfold it when it's time to go to bed. But yeah, I oh, we have a lot of plans for the camper. Jerry was talking about going camping while we're still here, and I'm like, I'd like to focus on trying to get everything ready for the move before I even think about camping. Um, we did have one idea of using it as a temporary home on a piece of property that we're thinking about buying. Um, the property we've been looking at was like about an acre, and I think it already had a um, mobile home on it. What we were going to do is we were going to get another mobile home, or build have a tiny home, one level tiny home built on the property for mom. So I we've got ideas. Yeah. Um, the van has done us a lot of good. I mean, it's traveled from New York to Texas, New York to Florida, New York to Missouri, Ohio. Um, I don't no, we've never drove the van to Vegas. So yeah, she's got a lot of miles, but she's still doing good. We have two. Well, we have one gauge that's messed up because of because um, yeah, diesel fuel accidentally got into my tank. Luckily, we realized it quick enough to get it fixed. Um, so the engine check light is on permanently. Depending on how cold it gets around here, my check tire gauge is on all the time, and I check my tires every day because it's like, when's this thing gonna shut down? When's it gonna get warm enough for this thing to be able to turn off? Um, so it's it's a good vehicle. I just We have been talking about having a second vehicle, um, in case of one thing or another. You know, so it's like one of those. We promised a friend of ours that we would give mom's little um, Mariner, little SUV type vehicle, to a friend of ours, because they've been using it more than we have lately. Because mom doesn't drive anymore. Mom's gotten to the point where she really can't drive anymore. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I should say can't, but she's having problems with driving. So it's one of those like, well, let's just, and my brain wasn't thinking about keeping it because I'm like, I got the van. Jerry doesn't drive that much anymore, but her eyes are getting better. We don't know if it's because of the chemo treatments or what, but her eyes are getting better, so she wants to start driving some more. And on to on Wednesday the 6th, I have a procedure that I need somebody to be able to drive me home because they're gonna put me under. They're gonna use it. Yeah, I have to be under anesthesia so I don't jerk or anything like that when I feel the pinch of a needle going into my neck. But it's one of those like, oh, I don't know how many miles are on that van, um, but it's up there in the thousands, hundreds of thousands, I think. Um, because not only the drive to Florida, Texas, and here in Ohio, but it's just all the driving I have to do around here because I live in a college community, and they don't really have my medical services are not always in town, so it's like when Jerry Ann was doing her eye shots, we had to go to Lebanon. That's a 45-minute drive from here and back. So that was like a day trip. Or if we have to go into Springfield for one medical reason or another, that's another day trip because that's a good hour, almost 2 hour drive, like an hour and a half drive. Or St. Louis is an hour and a half. So we're like in between all the big cities. So it's one of those things where it's like not only the long distance travel to go see friends and family, but it's just all the different places we've had to go here in Missouri. I mean, yes, we've gone to Springfield a couple times for the mall and some of the other places that we like to go to when we have extra money. In fact, there's four different metaphysical shops that I go to in Springfield. There's at least one to two metaphysical shops in St. Louis that I go to when I get the chance. But most of my metaphysical shops are in Springfield. And I've already looked. Canyon City, where we want to move, has a couple. Pueblo, which is like 30 minutes away from Canyon City, is got a bunch of different metaphysical shops. So, you know, if if I need to go get something that I can't order online, which I rather get it fresh from the store than waiting online because God knows how long it's been sitting in a jar. But I do love to travel, so I mean that's one of my downfalls. Which there are, well, if I can find my information, otherwise I have to yeah, I have to look it back up. But there's a number of different places in Colorado that are haunted. I would like to go just to either find out for myself or debunk it and cross it off my list of, yeah. But there's like a whole town that's haunted. There's a couple different places, but well, I'll be honest with you. The reason why I can't work right now is because of my back problems, and they are not just a simple like slap some medication on there and wait. They're degenerative discs and bones in my neck. They have not figured out. They're yet to finally do an MRI on my lower back to see if there's anything going on down there because that area hurts. So I have issues with my backbone basically because of basically degenerative. Um, we are hoping because we found out that in Colorado I could get paid to be my wife's caretaker. Unlike here in Missouri, I can be paid to take care of my mom, but not my wife, which really stinks. But I mean, I would love to go out and get a part time job or do something. But between what's been going on here lately, Jerry kind of needs me here for the most part. Um, but I'm looking forward to being able to get paid to take care of my wife. Um, that's one of many different reasons why we went to go to Colorado. Uh, let's see here. Magic spells seem to be working. They have an endless supply of money. Wish a positive balance. I don't do any. See, this is my thing is I don't do any spells or anything like that for personal gain because that's actually one of the many things that are said not to do. Um, Now, if you want to do a spell jar or something like that for protection, whether it's personal protection or family protection or property protection, go for it. Those are okay. But if it has anything to do with personal gain, no. That's why when I've had several times on Facebook somebody come and tell me that if I give, that they are going to give me like $5,000 or some amount of money, I'm like, no, 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 no. Um, Now, if somebody wants to gift me something, now that's a different thing. A gift is a gift. You can take it or leave it. But when people tell me that they're going to gift me money and then they turn around and ask for like my Cash App codes or something like that, that right there is a big red flag, and I will not. No, nope. But anything to do with personal gain, I'm not a real big fan of, because, well, here's the thing: you have to watch what you're doing when you're doing spell casting or spellcraft, because if you do it wrong, it can backfire and you can lose your shirt. That's why anything against anybody I will not do, and anything that gives me personal gain, like financial gain, no. Protection, yes. Health, yes. But you really have to be careful what you're doing. That's why I don't do anything unless I've got either written instructions or I've you know checked it out. But I will tell you that the book that I'm reading, which is basically Witchcraft for Daily Health or Daily Self Care, has done me a lot of good because it has helped me learn how to breathe properly, to stay calm. It's helped with like meditation. Now, meditation is a form of just letting yourself go, relaxing, letting your thoughts free flow without, getting upset that you can't remember what your thoughts are. It's one. There's a lot of practice into it. You can't just jump into it like, hey, I know what I'm doing. No, 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 no. Get yourself a good book that tells you how to do things. Otherwise, you can mess yourself up. This is the thing. My disability is basically it causes a lot of pain because there's an area where the nerve endings come out of your spine, and because of the way my back is degenerative, it pinches, so it hurts. So I'm like on 300 milligrams of gabapentin, which I don't like because I read a lot of the side effects, and it could cause you to get sick. Give you a really bad illness. And I'm thankful that my doctor said we're going to cut it down to once a day because the doctor that was my primary. The neurosurgeon who prescribed me the gabapentin said 300 milligrams, 3 times a day, and I was like, okay. And I had taken one gabapentin that first night, and then I took another gabapentin in the morning. And I tell you what, it made me feel like shit. It made me feel like death warmed over. I literally could just sit there on my couch going, I can't even play my game because I'm like falling asleep. And there was nothing that I could do to energize myself. And I said, we're not doing this. We're not doing this 3 times a day. No. But most of Jerry's needs for a caretaker is just like help make dinner, change the bed, get her. Before when she was weak, it was get her from the bedroom to the shower or the bedroom to the front room. Now that she's got enough stamina and energy, she can make it from the bed to the kitchen, take a short breather or whatnot, and then her final destination to the couch. So she doesn't need an extreme caretaker. She just needs somebody to be there to help her get up out of the bed or help her pick up after, just like cleaning, cooking, healthcare, basic maintenance. You know, she doesn't need a lot. but because of the cancer and her eye issue, she at first, before she started getting before she started her chemo, she had daily people come in from hospice. But hospice has this rule that if you're on treatment, they're not going to come in and take care of you. So right now, because she's not on treatment, we haven't really discussed getting back on hospice. We've just discussed, okay, we know that Jerry needs X, Y, and Z, but I need A, B, and C. And we both agreed to it. So it's like I'm here at the house. So anytime she needs help or needs something that she can't do on her own, she gets a hold of me. She calls me on my phone, text messages me, calls my name, whatever. So in actuality, everything is fine and dandy. We don't need. We found out that we don't need anybody outside of the house to come in to help, because I'm home all the time now, so I can do it. And and I when I don't have a third party, basically an outside party, trying to come in and help with Jerry, when I'm in the middle of cleaning and whatnot, and they want to jump in to help me, I can't do that. You know, it's like either help my wife out or just chillax. Do what she asks you to do. Do her laundry. Do stuff that has to do with her, because the company we were using basically was the information was the person to come in as a healthcare person. Yes, Cece. Um, is supposed to come in and just do stuff for Jerry. That person could not do little bed linens because I sleep in the same bed, but they can clean Jerry's clothing, make Jerry some food, wipe off Jerry's dishes, whatever it was connected to Jerry was what they were supposed to do. And things started going south. Let's just put it that way. And I mean, I know me and Jerry are generous people who are like, oh yeah, make yourself at home. Well, this person was Cece was making themselves way too at home and getting way too comfortable. And I hate to say it, but basically, she was no longer doing her job. She was just coming in here to hang out, eat food, do her nails, chit chat with family on the phone, on her phone, things like that. Which, okay, yeah, she's labeled as a professional, but she wasn't acting like one. So I was just like, it's up to you what to do, Jerry. I mean, I left it up to Jerry. But I think Jerry finally came to light what was going on and just didn't like it herself. And there was a day that we really needed Cece and Jerry, and she was spending more of her time off. Basically, I don't know if she was on or off the clock, doing whatever. And that was a day that Jerry had back to back medical appointments. And by the end of the day, both me and Jerry were so sore and sore tired because of what happened that day. And I'm not going to go into details because I really don't. It's done and over with. I ain't worried about it no more. But it just became that day was like the day that broke my wife's back, basically. And I don't mean physically. I just mean like that was the straw that broke the camel's back type thing. And that's all I'm going to say about it because it's done and over with, and I'm not gonna. I don't like dredging up the past unless it's my personal past, and this thing that happened with Cece is not my past. It's Jerry and Cece's issue, and Jerry tried to reach out to her and explain it and apologize. Well, not only just apologize, but just to explain her side of it. But we got blocked. She is basically not communicating with us. Um, yes, basically yes, she's not with us no more. Which I'm not upset about it. The only thing I'm upset about is how it led to the situation. Because if certain parties were to speak plain and simple, um, I blame myself too because there was a lot of things that was going on that I should have been like, no, no. but it was between Jerry and Cece. I'm, you know, it's the past. I'm not worried about it. I'm more worried about my present and my possible future. You know, the future's not written, so my future can go into many different directions. Um, oh God, yeah, my back hurts. Actually, Oreo doesn't seem to notice. Oreo, plays when she wants to play. I take her outside for walks. There are times I put her on her outdoor chain leash, whatever you want to call it, and she runs crazy. I mean, she just runs all over the yard. The only thing I don't like about Oreo is she'll jump on that double pane Arcadia door, and I'm just like, dog, you're not that lightweight. You hit that the wrong way during the wrong time of the year or weather system. That it can shatter, and I don't want her to get broke. But I think the only thing Oreo misses is the play dates to go play with Cece's dog. Other than that, I don't think she noticed. I don't think she real. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But the way things are right now, we're actually in fairly good health. I mean, today is just. I mean, after the last couple of days of just hardcore work, today is the day that my body needs a rest because it's hurting. I can normally. Sorry, my ear issues. I can normally go in there and do what I have to do and push myself. But well, I think yesterday I pushed myself a little too much. I mean, I was hurting for a little bit, and then this morning I woke up and I was just like, oh my god, how am I getting out of bed? My knees were like buckling or wanted to buckle. I just everything wanted to go south basically, and this must be the side I slept on last night because it's all poopy. Um, so I told Jerry, right now I don't feel like doing anything. We'll see how I feel later on in the afternoon, but right now it's like no. Yeah, I'm trying to get back onto the cooking. In fact, the last couple of days, actually more this morning than yesterday. I was like, oh man, I should do a video on the omelets I've been making because lately we've been eating. Morning breakfast has been mom's omelet, my omelet, and sometimes Jerry Ann has an omelet. Sometimes just scrambled egg with sausage in it. But like mom likes an egg white omelet and on a croissant, and I just regular omelet with ham or something like that on. Well, this morning was sourdough, but I'm thinking I'm liking it on rye better than sourdough. Um, from what we've from what we've read about the system in Colorado is I may not have to take a test because I've been taking care of Jerry for years now. Um, but I'm like, from what I understand, it may be a simple test. It may be just a simple, like, somebody comes out to the house and spends a couple hours, whatnot, with us while to see what all I do and what all Jerry needs type deal. Um, but I'm not worried about that because it's either a I get paid to take care of Jerry Ann, or B, we try to see if we can get me on disability because of my back. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it takes forever to get disability, blah 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 blah. But there's so many different groups out there that are trying to help people who need the disability get on there. Um, Disability lawyers, basically. Now, I have a sister-in-law who right now is not doing so great because she had to have a liver transplant. But she was basically my wife's advocate with disability. She had worked with a lawyer with a lot of different disability or one thing or another. So maybe I can call her up and get some advice from her. Um, I don't want her to do it for me because I don't want her to be in pain while trying to advocate for me. Um, and I don't know if Jerry can advocate for me or what, but yeah. Um, Thing is the way things are going. Well, I basically told Jerry that I could not be her advocate at that time because one, I was still trying to just get over the concept of her having cancer. The other reason why I didn't want to be Jerry's advocate because I would be the devil's advocate. Yeah, basically, I basically be on the phone saying, "Look, you got a choice. You can either help us out and put my wife on disability because of these health issues, which are well, stage 4 cancer is basically counting the days of how long a person's going to live." Um, but thankfully, my wife's spirits are so strong and high and whatnot that I knew she was going to be a fighter. But I'd also be the type of person to be like, look, we can either do it this way or we can just do it the old fashioned way, 10 counts and turn type deal. Um, because I'm not a good advocate. Um, because I will get to a point where it's like, look, either do your job, get her on disability because of these health reasons, or you know, find yourself a good lawyer because I'll find a way to sue your ass and everybody else around you. Um, but that's one of the reasons why I can't do certain things is because I just go old school. Nothing's good. Nothing's better than old school, as my father used to say. But my mom would not do that. Um, she wishes we could, but she's not going to force us to do it. Now, the way things have been here has been pretty much 50-50. Um, Mom knows right now we don't make enough money because I don't have a job like I used to pay everything. So mom has been gracious enough to pay everything that has to do with the house, which is basically the mortgage, the utilities, the cable or internet, whatever you want to call it, cable internet. Basically everything that is not our personal bill, she pretty much takes care of right now, which I'm not happy about. I'm not because I I never wanted my mom to pay for us to live, but because my mom because it's actually put it once to me before when I talked to her about it, and was apologizing for it. She said, what am I going to do? Throw my son and his wife out to the curb?" So she does it more for me than Jerry. But I wish and I hope that when we get to Colorado and all we have to worry about is paying basically jointly paying for the plot of land that we're living on, but individually paying for our trailers and mortgage and that kind of stuff. Um, So it's one of those like I'm hoping that in the future when we get to Colorado, even if we're living on the same piece of land, that we can take care of our own part of it, basically. Because I don't want mom to be paying for me and Jerry the rest of her life. Um, because what are we going to do when she passes? You know. Well, that's the thing about my family is um, we'll take care of each other. I mean, until the bitter end. Um, you know, I was raised basically if a family member needs help, come hell or high water, you're there to help. Um, and because I mean, I used to sit there and go, yeah, my attitude is because of my family. No, I realized that my attitude isn't just because of my family; it's because of my ancestors. Um, you know, it's kind of hard to have Norse ancestry and not, like I used to joke with my friends and family when I only knew what they were telling me. I used to joke it because it was my joke was, look at me. The reason why I am the way I am is let's see here. I've got Scottish, I've got Irish, I've got German. Now I can say I've got Norwegian, Norse. What do those four people like to do? Get drunk and get into fights. That was the joke. Bad attitude can hold your liquor. Um, Not that I drink that much anymore. No, I do not purposely take advantage of anybody. I don't have that kind of bone in my body. Um, I've had a lot of people take advantage of me, but that's just because you know I don't like rocking the boat basically. But when I do rock the boat, yeah, it's best to just jump out and wait until it settles. Uh, Sorry, I keep on wanting to drink like crazy, and that's because I am a combination of bored. I don't want to say depressed, but I do have some depression. Um, and when I get depressed, it's either I just climb into my turtle shell and eat and drink till I can't eat and drink no more, or play video games like crazy and not worry about a damn thing. Um, I do want to get some stuff done, but at the same time, I want to take it easy. And today's the first. Oof! I just realized that today is March 1st. Um, if you want to believe or not, that's your choice. Old wives' tale, and this goes back to the old days. It's also something from Witchcraft. Take Hey Fiona, um, take some cinnamon. Sprinkle some cinnamon in your hand. Step outside your house. Blow the cinnamon into your house, at your front door, your side door. Should probably be doing it at the Arcadia door, but I don't. It is folklore. Basically, is when you do that, you attract money. It's a combination of attracting money and protection. Um, so that's just something I do. It hasn't really attracted much money, but it's I think it's done pretty good for protection. Um, yeah, that's what Jerry says. I need to get out every so often, get some fresh air, and change the scenery. Hey, Jerry's on. Uh, okay, just over an hour. That's probably why Jerry jumped on and tell me I've been on here for over an hour. Um, or the dog needs something. Something needs to be done. I don't know. Not trying to out her or anything like that. It's just it's. I don't want to say it's a running joke with us, but um, a lot of times when she needs me or anything like that, for one reason or another, she tries to get a hold of me in some way or another. Um, Heading to Vegas. Oh wow. Yep. My sister lives. Well, sister-in-law lives out there. But I sorry, I just lost thought. And no, Jerry, it's not because you came on here. It's because my mind is starting to be weird. I know. I know. Um, well, because I've been waking up before Jerry. Jerry's been having trouble sleeping. She doesn't fall asleep until like the early hours of the morning, like 4 o'clock. But um, uh, so what I end up trying to do in the morning time, if the dog will let me, because sometimes the dog won't let me, is I try to come into my office or some place that I can be semi-private, um, and just try to do a little relaxing and meditation and trying to focus on what I can and cannot do today. And unfortunately, my right shoulder was like, we're we're not sure if we're going to be able to do anything today. But I did tell Jerry that if I feel better sometime in the afternoon, um, we will try to do something. Right now, the pain is starting. The pain is just a twinge. So we might be able to do something. Might be able to finish up the top of her dresser. I think just about everything else is pretty much done except for maybe the closet. And when mom wakes back up, I have to ask her for a screwdriver because I can't find my tools. They're buried in one of the various rooms. Um, so Trudy, um, when my wife says it's she has no negative intentions and whatnot, she doesn't. So be nice to my wife because I'm not going to stand for it. No, we have not put the house on the market just yet. I am well, I've been talking with my mom, and we're still like, okay, well, we have, Jerry and I have these medical appointments, and the trailer from Mona won't be here until sometime in April. Even though Mona did say earlier in my chat that they'd be willing to take it to Colorado, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to have them do that. Um, so it's one of those things where it's like I'm just appreciative towards Mona and her father that they're giving us the trailer. I'm not going to make them do anything like travel all the way out to Colorado with it. No, no. Even though she did offer if they had to, you know. But yeah. Um, let's see here. Well, I understand that, Trudy, but my wife and I have gotten closer, and we're working together, and we're not causing problems, for each other. Even though my because of my mentality and whatnot, I do get frustrated from time to time because I don't understand what Jared's trying to convey. So I have to sometimes step away just so I can clear my head and you know that kind of thing. Um, yeah, it's still fine, Trudy. She's not trying to take control. Yes, and it is her birthday here. I just realized that. Yeah. Um, But um, I sorry, that whole mess got me. But anyhow, yeah, I am appreciative of the gift from Mona. I I don't know if she's still on here or not, but I'm not gonna ask her to try to take it all the way out. You're right, Tina. She should have remained quiet. You know the. I'm sorry. I can't take anybody who's gonna bash my wife. I'm just no. That kind of shit does not fly with me. We do not have a move date because, like I was saying earlier, you might not have been here, Fiona. Um, because of all the things that are happening between medical appointments and getting the trailer from Mona delivered in April, um, we are still kind of like not really at a standstill. It's more like we gotta. I think what it is we gotta sit down as a family and um, calculate. You know, medical appointments, the trailer arrival, getting a tow hitch on our van. Um, so right now there is no actual move date. Oh, Jerry answered that. I'm sorry, Jerry. I didn't realize you answered that. Um, oh, not a problem, Fiona. Right now it's kind of like my shoulder blade region is still achy, so it's kind of like, am I going to be able to do anything today? Um, if I don't do anything today, Sunday will not be a day of rest. It will be a day of work. But one of the things me and Jerry are in agreements is basically we're not making any solid plans on doing anything housework wise unless I feel up to it. Um, Mainly because I'm the one who does most of the physical work. Um, so it's like I'm trying to keep myself motivated because I don't want to get stagnant again and then just like put off. There's so many things I've put off that needs to be done. Um, some of the stuff that we were supposed to do outside last couple days earlier this week, I ended up putting off because, well, one, I didn't really feel like doing it, and two, I was just kind of like wasn't even thinking about outside stuff. I was thinking about inside stuff. I mean, I guess if I spent more time going in and out of my house on whether it's just trips to get away for a little bit, or what, I would start to want to do it more. Um, so it's one of those kind of like put it off because you don't feel like doing it, put it off because you don't realize how bad it is, or putting it off because of the chilly weather. So I'm to blame for a lot of things that are being put off lately, and that's my job. Found out my back surgery is going to be much more invasive, so now it's scheduled for 5/14. Wow. Um, Wednesday the 6th, I have my procedure for getting a steroid shot in the back of my, in my neck region, towards the back of my neck. It's supposed to help numb, I guess, the nerves, so it won't be as painful. And from what I've read or what I've been told, the shots are like 50-50. Sometimes they don't work, sometimes they do work. It depends on the person. Um, the other thing is, if it does work, it could last for up to 6 months, which would be awesome because then hopefully within that time I will be moved to Colorado and my own energies or body or whatnot will correct itself. Hopefully. Uh, let's see. Oh, Mona. If y'all want people to believe that you have Jim's best interests at heart, then how do you think attack his wife and make comments about something he is excited about having his best interest? Yeah, I agree with you there, Mona. That's why that one person has been basically blocked. Because I'm sorry, if you're if you attack my wife, that right there is an instant bye bye. I didn't catch it as quickly as other people did, but yeah. As for having my best interest, well, far as I'm concerned, if you're concerned about me, that's fine and dandy. But when you express it in a inappropriate manner, that makes me think that yeah. So, but yeah, it does suck to have health issues, no matter what they are. Um, yeah, I hope my procedure goes fine because I just I want to be able to like wake up from the anesthesia after the procedure. And granted, they said it would take 48 to 72 hours before it kicks in, but I'm just hoping once it kicks in, I feel like hey, I can take on the world. But anywho, we're almost at an hour and a half, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. You guys will most definitely see me Sunday morning. As for tomorrow, since I did a live today, I don't know. It depends on what's going on and how I feel. So I will see you guys Sunday. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. All right. Good night or good day and have a good one.